Hi everyone, it's Sarah here. I want to talk through what it means to have full responsibility whilst you're on placement. I am envisaging that it will involve you using the early years planning cycle to observe children, to analyse their learning, to come up with a plan for how to extend that learning, and then to do that activity or learning experience or environment setup. Now, once you do that over and over again for different children each day, then you start to build up an entire program. So you will likely be writing some kind of observation, perhaps a learning story, where you write what happened and then you analyze the learning that you saw and then suggest a way to further that learning. For example, you see children who are digging in the sandpit with shovels, and you decide that the learning that took place was about gross motor development using arm muscles and repeated patterns of movement. This is from the EYLF, so I'm using the EYLF language to work out what was the learning that was occurring in this. Maybe there was some taking turns of scarce resources as well, and being aware of others so that their shovel didn't hurt each other. You decide that you want to continue the gross motor patterns of movement with arms and legs, and so you decide, I want to do some gardening, I want to move heavy rocks, and I want to use real shovels instead of toy shovels to be moving soil. And I want to do this, in a group of children so that we're continuing to develop those social skills of taking turns. So that is how you would do that learning story. Then you would take this idea, this gardening idea to develop patterns of movement with large muscles, and I'd put it on my plan. This is the type of plan that I would use, but your centre may use something different, and I might say, I'm going to do that on Monday morning. I write another observation about something different, and I decide to use magnifying glasses to look at flowers, and I put that Tuesday after lunch. Something like that. You are going to need to find out from your mentor how they do their planning, what style of observations they do, etc. In my planning, I would plan to do one learning story a day, and the co-educator with me would also do one a day. So that's two things that are going on the plan each day. So find out what your centre does, and you're going to be doing that. So full responsibility. You might be setting up the environment. Now, of course, the environment doesn't change every day or even every week. Some things are always the same. There will always be a sandpit, for example. The paint might always be out. The drawing materials will always be available. So those things stay. So you don't have to change everything every day, and children actually like repetition. So you might set up the environment, but say, well, they've been really into these flowers, so I'm going to teach them how to do flower prints in paint. I'm going to put the flowers near the paint today. And then if the children are enjoying that, you might actually keep that going for a week. Maybe you say, I'm going to put magnifying glasses out with flowers, and then I'm going to put some paper and pencils next to that for children to draw what they see. You could do that for a couple of weeks if it's something that is really engaging children. Songs, you might only introduce a new song once a week, perhaps. New circle game. Children really have to learn it before you can move on to the next thing. You might choose 5 books for the whole week and read those same books every day for a week until children can read them back to you and can act them out in their play and can tell them with puppets. So 5 books. And now you've got reading, you've got drawing, you've got acting out the story, you've got using puppets, all because you chose 5 books at the start of the week. Then you might introduce 5 more the next week, but leave those 5 in the library area. So the program continues, it rolls along, and you're slowly introducing new ideas. So you might set up in the environment. You might run a circle time, check with your mentor what resources she has or he has, what music do they have available to you, what books are available to you, is there a game the children really like. You will be gathering children and then transitioning them to other activities, running routines like lunch, washing hands. Follow what your centre does for those. You will be engaging in free play and responding spontaneously to the ideas that the children have. Just because you're not running a circle time doesn't mean that you're not teaching. There is spontaneous moments of intentional teaching. I can see that a child needs something now and that I can assist that child to learn more in this situation. You are going to not walk away from conflict, because you are going to realize that you are responsible and you're going to help the children sort it out, even if that means saying, I'm going to go and speak to the mentor teacher's name and have a discussion about this and see what we can work out. That's taking responsibility. It's not ignoring, but you are going to sort it out, even if that means getting some help. You're going to continue the good work that the centre is doing, and you're going to allow the other staff to continue the good work that they do as well. You might be taking a small group or an individual child on something you think they wanted or you want them to learn, and the other staff are going to be the same, doing the same things. Just because you're there doesn't mean their relationships and their teaching stops. You're going to ask your mentor for advice whenever you can. Show your mentor your observations, get their ideas for analysis of learning and their ideas for how you could develop that learning. And you might bring your own ideas as well. So if you have an idea, if you want to try something, please do. Now is the time to take risks. If it doesn't work, reflect, try it again the next day. Don't walk away from it and say, oh, tunnel ball was no good. Just think through how to teach it better and do it again the next day. So that is my advice for you. But number one is to continue the work that the centre does in the way that they do it. So observe carefully in your first week and continue the work that they do for the weeks that you have responsibility, being yourself and introducing you and your relationships and your ideas to the program as well. All right, all the best.